What's going on, growers? It's James Prigioni coming to you live from Jersey. The food forest has finally woken up. The trees, they're blooming, the pollinators are out. So let me take you through, show you how everything's growing. Let's go. I want to start off with this usual view. You can see the nectarine is almost in full bloom, looking beautiful. The apricots in the back, they're in full bloom. The almond tree's blooming. I just got to take you guys inside. Right now I'm at the spot where I could go into the chicken pen, into the new food forest, or the 7-year-old food forest. Let me take you into the 7-year-old. Show you the Santa Rosa plum. For a little while I was worried about whether or not the pollinators were going to come, because it's in full bloom now, but they came. They came for the apricots, and they're out full now for the Santa Rosa plum. And it's about 75 degrees here. One nice day and they all showed up. It's amazing. I don't even know where they come from. Same thing with the worms. All you got to do is put the right system in. The worms show up out of nowhere. I don't know from where. This Santa Rosa plum was one of the first trees that we ever planted. I love it. I think it's beautiful. I'm happy with the way I pruned it, and I think it'll be a good producer for us. Right here we've got the almond tree. This is an all-in-one almond, which means it's actually self-pollinating, and this is the first year we've had flowers on it. There's not a lot, but it's still good for the future. That gives us high hopes. Let me take you over the seedlings. Some people have questioned why we use the red cups. Like I've said, I reuse them year after year, so which makes them reusable, even though they are plastic. But another thing is the white on the inside. That white has great reflection. So if I don't put the soil all the way to the top, I can get that reflection coming off the sides, and I think it gives a more even growth lower. And I just like the way it works. And you can see I have them all in trays. And what I do is on nice days, I could just leave them out here, and then when it's not nice the next day, I'll just bring it in, tray at a time. Makes it easy for me. So as often as I can, I have my seedlings outside, because I mentioned it before, if you bring them inside, you have to mimic nature. The further away you get from nature, the harder it's going to be for you. So as often as you can bring them out and climatize them, that's what I suggest doing. Right next to me here, we've got an apple tree from seed. Look how large it's getting. I don't see many fruit or any actually flowers this year, but maybe next year. And right next to this, we have a peach tree coming up from seed, which is awesome. And I've got more peach trees coming up from seed under another peach tree. I'll show you that, but before I do, look at the blackberry. This thing is a beast, great producer. This one is a semi-erect blackberry. This is the Navajo, thornless. And what we do is we prune at 2 to 4 feet. This first year canes, and what that does is gives us all the lateral growth, because that's where all your fruit's gonna be, on the lateral growth. This way we get max fruit. Right to the right of that, you've got a nice looking grape. Now let me show you that peach tree from seed, the other one. As you can see, the trees are getting closer and closer. This one was one of the first trees we put in, apple tree. It's not producing well, or hasn't in the past. So we're gonna decide if we wanna take that out. Maybe we will. It'll open up a lot of space for the others. And this is the peach tree that came up from seed. As you can see here, the structure of it isn't great, but what we're gonna do is prune it the right way, and I'll bring you guys along for that. This way, we don't waste any growth. In the future, we don't have to cut off anything big. If you notice next to me here, we've got some large wood chips. I don't really like this stuff. I don't like walking on it. And even when I dig through, this stuff's just too big. So what I'm gonna go through and do is rake it and then put some nicer wood chips over top of it, triple ground. I decided it was time to get another load of wood chips. So we got 10 cubic yards, and this is what they call triple ground. So it's nice and small. It had the needles and the leaves in it. They just cut it up a lot. And this isn't the most ideal stuff. The best is the fresh arborist ones, right from a fresh cut down tree with all the leaves and needles and the sticks. But I already have that in there as the base layer in the new food forest. So I'm gonna put this on the top of the 7-year-old one to make it nice to walk on, and also the new one. Let's get moving. Before I get this in, I need to rake some of these wood chips out and move them out, only the large ones, and move these nicer, finer ones in. It's gonna be so nice to walk on. When you do this style gardening, there's not many tools you need. This is one of the main ones. A rake, and you also need something to shovel, and a wheelbarrow. But this is a joy, nothing loud, nothing that stinks. And we're just gonna come out here, take our time, enjoy ourselves.
Go on, sit back and relax and get comfortable. Sit back and relax and get comfortable.
Some of these medium-sized chips are alright, but this is just too big. This is like, I don't know, I wouldn't even call this a wood chip. This is gonna take a while to break down. So we don't even wanna bury it. We're gonna take some of that out, bring a more finer grade stuff in like we had. It's gonna be nice for us too, so we can walk around here barefoot if we want. and it'll make it easier for Tuck to run around. More of a joy for everybody. Let me show you the mother tree, one of my favorites in the whole food forest. This is the Bing cherry. This year it's looking beautiful, about to open its flowers, and you can see a good amount of fruit sets. The bark, the color of it, the feel of it is excellent. It gets me so excited. One thing I wanted to talk about is when it rains and when the rain comes through the tree. Bill Mollison talks about this. He says it's not even rain anymore. It's like rain bath water. They call it through fall. So that comes through and actually gets fertilized by the tree and drops down and feeds your plants. That's why some people will mention, I've heard Paul Gauci even say it, that he thinks things grow better under trees sometimes. I could agree. Some plants do grow better under trees, but we know some things love full sun. We've got a number of rhubarb in here doing excellent. Behind us, we have one that's planted by strawberries, strawberry rhubarb pie. This one's planted by raspberries, and this raspberry patch is gonna be epic this year. I think we're gonna actually have to start pulling stuff out this year. We're gonna get into the problem where we have too much production. Things are coming up and sprouting and propagating on their own without me even trying. Let me show you some grapes that just propagated themselves. These things I'm about to show you, in my opinion, they're a true testament to the fertility in here and the moisture content. I pruned back a grape a couple of years ago, maybe a year or two ago, and I guess I just dropped the cutting. Now look at this. We've got a Concord grape growing. So anytime I want, I could dig this out, transplant it, free grape, without doing anything. Under here, under the Niagara, we've got the same thing going on. This one came up about a year or two ago. Niagara again, on its own, must be from a cutting. This is a hilarious one though. You can see this is obviously a cutting. And I just dropped it and it rooted in. So we've got all these grapes growing that we didn't even try. That's how high the fertility is in here. I know we're gonna have problems with too many things growing, but that's what I love. I'd rather come through and cut things out than be in a barren wasteland.
Now close your eyes. Yeah, now make it right. Don't point your finger at me. Don't you know it's you while you're suffering? You're why you're suffering. I've got my mind set at ease. Don't you know it's you while you're suffering? You're why you're suffering. I found my reasons to live. Don't you know it's you while you're suffering? You're why you're suffering. I've got my mind set at ease. Don't you know it's you while you're suffering? You're why you're suffering.
Maybe yourself is keeping you low. You know what they say, you know how it goes. Could be your own friend, could be your own foe. Or you can stand up, accept what you won't know yourself is keeping you low. You know what they say, you know how it goes. You could run away, or you could be ghost. Or you can stand up, accept what you won't know.
Won't sit back and relax and get comfortable. Won't sit back and relax and get comfortable. Yeah. Now close your eyes.
As you can see, this stuff is just so much nicer. It's gonna be such a joy to walk on compared to this. Look at it. It wasn't all like this when we put this stuff in. It was a mix, but the big stuff just stayed as all the small stuff broke down. And this is what it looks like underneath. You can see it's a beautiful soil. So we want to make sure we keep this covered. We don't want it exposed. That's why we're going to get the wood chips down. And we're not wasting this. We're bringing this into the chicken pen and we'll let it break down in there. That's today's video, growers. Thanks for watching. Now that it's the time of year where it gets hectic, it gets busy, it gets crazy, although it's a lot of fun, I want to encourage you guys to not just get through the day, get from the day. Take every day, every moment, and every experience and use that to invest in your future. If you liked it, hit the subscribe button, share it with your friends, check us out on Steam It. Food Forest, it's blooming, it's coming along, day by day. See you guys in the next one. James Prigioni is out.
Suffering, you're why you're suffering.
Oh, yeah.
It's you why you're suffering, you're why you're suffering. It's you why you're suffering. You're why you're suffering.